middleman.
Hello and welcome to today's offering on the middleman. I am James, leading the proceedings for today's grand feast of ideas. Juro Emeka Madunagu is on the bench here and has a case in the Yoruba language titled That's unusual and actually goes to explain why it's a case you don't want to miss. Juro Cyril Abakwe has spotted a storm in the teacup with the northern governors opposing the president's tax reform bill. Plus, I will be addressing what I've titled executive rascality. All of these conversations will happen in a moment. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Middleman.
And you're welcome back to The Middleman. My case today is titled Executive Rascality. So much has been said of the executive rascality, or should I call it legislative rascality, of Alex Mascot Ikweche, who assaulted a driver. His apology claiming it was provoked is unacceptable, as we all saw the assault video and the only provocation therein was the driver asking him to come pick his parcel in the driver's car. He said as much in the video to his snail vendor. His only complaint was the driver didn't know who he is and is a rat for asking him to come to the car to pick his package. We are not really surprised at the dishonorable behavior of the Federal House of Representative member who called himself a senator. While asking, do you know who I am? He didn't even know who he is. Anyway, many Nigerians with small power act like rats. The physical assault of the driver is what is surprising. Mascot, rightly named, took matters into his own hands. How rascally. Youth in government in the mud. The driver also alleges that after the assault, he was arrested, taken to the police station, and detained for hours. The investigating police officers' only grounds to the driver was that he recorded the assault. Just imagine he didn't record. He may have been charged for robbery or assault himself. That is, the victim becoming the accused. Remember Elisha Abo, the sex storage shop senator that represented Adamawa North? He put up a female shop attendant, and the Senate committee asked to look into the matter, asked him what he wanted them to do for him. All around executive rascality. Nigerian laws are for the poor, while justice is for the rich and powerful. Yet all of us are comfortable in this malady. No government has been able to improve our justice nor police system. The way things are, benefits our rascals. If a lawmaker can slap you for not kowtowing to him, imagine what a judge can do. They have armed guards and no one will dare to slap back in the face of live ammunition. But are we just going to pontificate about this and move on? My verdict. Civil society organizations ought to rally around this driver and ensure he sues for assault. Mascot is back in the House of Representatives. We saw how he waited by the curb for a taxi when he was abroad. It means he only acted in such manner because he knows he can get away with it in Nigeria. His constituents should also take the bold step to recall him. Oh yes, I know that's like a camel passing the eye of a needle. But we can't always throw up our arms in defeat against a few rascals in government. Let us show him and others like him that Nigerian lives matter, and regardless of status, every citizen deserves respect. I rise.
Well, Juro, you've raised a very important and critical case as we saw it unfold in the past week. Except that maybe there was something you failed to add. That among one of the possibilities was the fact that the taxi driver by now could have also gone missing.
Very true.
Without any consequence. Nobody would have asked questions. You know, as they say, you go back out tire. Yeah, it was he went to. My other second problem is are we really leaving this matter to the police? Of course, we have to, but what hope do we have in that, leaving matter to the police? Because they've clearly shown a lack of determination and purpose in dealing with this case. The reps member first of all went to they said that they invited him for grilling. What followed was an apology.
That wasn't really an apology.
You know what I mean? It was generated by AI. Yeah, so AI.
If you read,
he just brought it and pasted it. That's where we are. So if you look at the rant, the way he spoke to the driver, and the everything he said, you just know this is someone that can repent with one apology.
My goodness.
If you follow the sequence, was it that he was going to apologize and then the matter would die down? But like I've been arguing, this matter doesn't really seem to have a future. And I can easily tell you why. One is, now, House of Reps, what have they said?
Nothing.
No, the deputy speaker even said that they cannot just subside it because of a slap. That's what Ben Carlo said. So for them it is nothing.
So it's not a criminal offense to assault someone.
For them it is nothing. These people don't commit suicide. The elite will not sell their room in case that's where you're going. You are calling for his recall. They didn't vote for him. He was not voted for. In what happened in that Abasat was that a Labour Party candidate had won the election. Then they cut through that one out. And instead of calling for a rerun, substantively ruled that he should go and become the rep member. Now, as I said, arguing, how does somebody who has gone from councillor to chairman, he has gone through the ranks, and these are people who will be looking forward as the leaders of
tomorrow.
He may become minister, he may become senator,
he will aspire to become president,
he may become vice president, and this is who he is. There was a former governor in the Third Republic that took acid and poured a journalist in Kogi. Yes, Alif Adania just took acid and poured it.
And the politician is dead.
Did he go to jail? He didn't go to jail. In fact, that man came back to become a governor in the Fourth Republic. Am I correct, sir? Yes. So these things that keep happening, I suspect that because he went one, committing they committed, two, police invited him for questions, three, he apologized. That was supposed to be the end of the matter.
Yeah.
But I suspect, because I mean, even here I said, prosecute this man. Punch looked at the judge saying, police, prosecute this guy. So for fear of a backlash, you know, we've come from 2 end bad governance protests.
True.
So I suspect that they would have said, oh, you know what, to make public tension go down, just dock him. But the man,
he's back in the house.
So if it is that the police are the ones prosecuting him, and I should clap and just what would happen?
But what surprises me is that in all these things, the police are usually the worst casualties. The police protect criminals in our society. They protect outlaws. And at the end of the day, when these outlaws, now attract negative backlash from different quarters, maybe sometimes, you could find that the attacked is a place, you see these fellows riding in bulletproof cars, and they leave the policemen in just ordinary
Very true.
And they lose their lives.
So when they are attacked, the police will be the first to die.
So the question I keep asking is that, is it that the Inspector General of Police, doesn't care about the lives of the men and women?
His rank and file.
Does he?
Even the officer. Is it that they don't care?
Does he?
Is it that they don't realize that what goes around comes around? That when you protect, look at this guy, he's just one ordinary nothing. Just a non-entity. Now you protect somebody like this at a higher level.
I said the IPO because it was Alex who called the police to arrest the driver, right? The IPO's only grounds with the driver was, why did he record? They did not care to even ask him what happened and protect his rights.
Sent him with a parcel to the fellow. Well, now,
typical vendor. Doesn't he know who you are? You see, it's a Nigerian parents thing. Don't you know who I am? Every small person who has small power.
Do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am? That's the way we say it, to be honest. So somebody hits your car on the road and you're asking,
do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am? That's the next thing you hear.
We live like a country that was prophesied to be like this. To the extent that is what I mean is, when people talk about social malfunction and dystopia, they say society will go from this level to that. We are like a sociological experiment where everything has broken, and the policeman is even saying, why if for no record them now?
Hey, imagine.
The policeman who does not know who he is, the power he should be wielding.
True.
In civilized countries, you don't apologize. What happened, right? is what you can call premeditated assault.
True.
Even in UK.
I mean, when you're telling somebody I can make it, when you're telling someone I can make you disappear, that's premeditated now.
In UK that did something like that, punched somebody on the street, he was suspended. But the House of Reps, let me tell you, in the middle of all of this is the media. The media stands to be blamed. Yes, I've had arguments with journalists, who were trying to make justifications for, people in power. I remember when EFCC, not their state, EFCC operatives, went on the live set of a TV station. And I saw journalists, editors, on a forum of editors. As a matter of fact, the Nigerian Guild of Editors. There were journalists who were saying that it was in order. Why? I told them clearly. That is the tribal solidarity. Because all of you were saying this are from the same ethnic group as the EFCC chairman. That's why you are doing this.
But why do we always go to
I said, look at it. You know that this is wrong. This is very wrong. What the EFCC did was very wrong. Then at the end of the day, the NBC, the Nigerian Broadcasting Commission, now came out to apologize to the station and say that what the EFCC did was wrong before the EFCC apologized. Now, when we run this way and that way, we justify it. Let me tell you, these people usually look at the media.
Yeah.
What the media says, how the media frames these things.
Yeah. And
when the media is too ready to look at the ethnic or religious leaning of that person, then the entire argument is lost. And I'm happy that, of course, I came out strongly to say that this his conduct stands highly, totally condemnable. I don't care even where it's from, but it's sad that the media continues to aid lawbreakers. People who you should be directly described as felons.
He's from the young generation, the same not too young to run that we're pushing, He gets into the house. I mean, Elisha Abo is 46, meaning that he must have been like 42 when he assaulted somebody. So the same people that we're saying are the leaders of tomorrow, people who we ought to encourage, to go into politics and be exemplary, citizens of the country, are the exact same ones who are assaulting others and asking them questions like, do you know who I am? It's really sad. Anyway, this case has not finished though, where, hoping that the police will do the right thing.
Hopefully.
I hope that our hope is not hopeless. Definitely our hope will not be hopeless. Anyway, when we come back, Joe Emeka Madinagu will give us a tour of the heavily troubled waters of society, marked today by widespread suffering, hunger, and want. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
You're welcome back. My case. You ain't seen nothing yet. Are you surprised at the title of my case? Well, it was suggested by a certain professor who will never see anything. Don't ask me whether he's a Nigerian or not. I don't know. Actually, the professor stole it from the lyrics of one of the hot hits by a Nigerian Fuji musician, Alhaji Wasiu Ayinde Marshal, aka K1 The Ultimate. It's titled One T. Part of the track also goes thus. And his band response. Wait for this. The price of crude is dropping globally, but in Nigeria, where things always go in the opposite direction, the Tinubu administration just increased the price of petrol for the 4th time in 2 months. And I never see anything. Add to it that transport, rent, school fees, groceries, cooking gas, clothing, food. Yes, food have grown wings and flown through the roof. Or is it the Naira that keeps falling every market day? Senate President Godswill Akpabio recently advised Nigerians to find wherever food is served and get some for themselves. I know Akpabio has a good sense of humor. Is it parties that these days the food hardly goes around invited guests that you expect to get crashed? Better don't try it. The hunger in your stomach is bad enough. Getting your clothes torn by even hungrier bouncers at the gate is worse. Curiously, President Bola Tinubu, who promised to lower the purchasing power, increase taxes, and slow down the economy, has been striving so hard to add the missing part, send the masses to any graves. What better way to do this odious battle than by pretending to be asleep while insecurity and corruption ravage the land? Businesses are closing down while more Nigerians are looking for how to flee the country. The roads are now turning into huge craters. Tinubu promised to continue from where his predecessor, the flossing Muhammad Buhari, stopped. Yes, Buhari left Nigeria. Tinubu is working hard to bury it. What an odoriferous Igihaga. Apologies to Patrick Obahia. My verdict. President Bola Tinubu was come to terms with the fact that he has totally, shamefully, and odiously failed. In less than 2 years, things have gone south. He loaded his cabinet with people who can't think of any smart policy to save their own lives. Now, he has replaced 5 ministers with 7, while his garrulous sidekick, while another, says the economy is doing well. What a bad dream. Don't trust a hungry man who suddenly gets invited to the table. He can defend any and everything. Tinubu must come clean and apologize to Nigerians for his abject ineptitude. Then, if he's tired, he should either sit up, sack the entire cabinet of empty brains, and stop this wonky imperialist IMF World Bank prescription, or resign. Nigerians have seen enough. We don't want to see anymore.
Thank you very much, Emeka. Your case is funny and at the same time not funny. And to use the Yoruba saying, something that really isn't funny, but makes you laugh in its severity. You know, we shout and we scream from the high hills that be careful, no. This APC government, what was the plan that Buhari came to execute in 8 years that Tinubu wants to continue? Then throughout the campaign, he didn't tell us anything that was worthy of note, that I've come here to come and dance. So when somebody says that he's coming like mascots, come and, you know, clown around, what are you expecting of him to do? You know? And like you rightly said in your case, Nigeria is such an anomalous country where something that goes up will never come down, even though the crude oil prices all over the world is dropping. We are now doing CNG cars that are exploding every other market day. It's unfortunate, but again, I have zoned out of Nigeria because I didn't expect anything once AIN announced Tinubu as winner in the middle of the night and the Supreme Court agreed to it.
1983.
I just zoned out. Like, there's nothing I'm expecting. So you cannot even disappoint somebody that is not expecting anything. I beg.
You know, my own personal, because whenever we take anybody, whenever we do a panoramic view of the Nigerian situation, I just know that we've not been blessed with good leadership that wants to deal with the issues at the root.
Followers are guilty.
No, you will see it in my case. The Nigerian followers.
See what the Kenyan followers are doing to their ruthless leader.
No. Yes. So social dynamics differ from country to country. The reason the French were able to do a revolution was because the class distinction has become so clear that you could have a family that has gone from poverty for 6, 7 generations. So clearly people had an axe to grind. In Nigeria, Professor Neil Oshunere was one that said, somebody can come up today, abject poverty. By the next generation, they might become millionaires.
Just go into politics.
That social ferment isn't always the same. Unlike France, where the line was so clear and had been existing for centuries. So they could easily do we versus them. Now, back to Juro Emeka's case. You know, I don't know what else to say. We've shed tears for Nigeria. We've laughed, we've cried, we've prayed, we've marched, we've done everything we can do. We've even voted. But the reality is that for anybody who comes to rule Nigeria, there are a number of things you will see that should let you know that this person is serious about effecting any serious change. As you see in my case, in my verdict, there are some things you don't put on the table immediately. If you've not gotten the buy-in of everyone, yes, of critical stakeholders. One. And number two, you know, it's like when you fall into a well or a pit, you don't dig
deeper.
And Juro Emeka was very correct. You cannot use one wrong to
write another.
It will not work. So by appointing people who lack vision, some people are knowledgeable, but they're not skilled.
Absolutely.
And you're putting around pegs in the square holes.
You don't need
they don't have the technical.
Yes, and the ability. You know, in my own chosen profession, I tell myself quietly that the hard part is the best part for me. Do you get what I mean? I look at that the hard part is better for me because there are certain parts of our work that when people they shy away, that's the one
it makes you learn.
It makes me I'm happy. When there's even what like a crisis, that's when I dance.
Well done, Ojo.
No, I'm coming. There's a point there's where I'm going. It's like in football. Some people are just good brains. They can be pundits. They can explain the situation. They can talk theories. They can tell you who got, but they don't put them in a dugout. The moment you give them players to manage, they will lose all their wisdom.
That's it.
And there are those who go into the dugout and can fight that trench warfare. It's not by talking.
Sure.
Now in Nigeria has proven. Do you know why Jonathan came and went and brought back Okonjo-Iweala? In Saudi Arabia, as of 2003 or so, Professor Tam David West, Buhari's Minister of Petroleum, was saying that his Saudi counterpart had been in office for almost 30 years or more.
You mean Babangida?
Minister of Petroleum.
Minister of Petroleum.
Yes, he has passed on a professor of virology. He said that he met the man as Saudi Arabia as Saudi's petroleum minister. And more than 30 years after he left office, the man was still there.
Why?
No, so this is how this for the Saudis, trust matters, confidence matters, and because it is their only source of revenue. So yeah, there's a dedicated person who has institutional history, who is running the show properly for the royal family. Even in Washington, you hear names like George Bush Senior, Dick Cheney Jr., Dick Cheney and Co. The party establishment, they go from maybe CIA director today, Secretary of State tomorrow, Secretary of Defense tomorrow. They will recycle so that these people have their hands very firmly on the wheel. Tomorrow, from that mix, one of them may become president. In Nigeria, they will shock you with absolute bunkum. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
You know, in those days, from Obasanjo's second term, they used to do what you call a super sub. We have names like OBS Ekwesili, Okonjo-Iweala, Charles Oludo. You know what I mean? Jonathan's time too. We had names like Adesina, Akim Adesina, Agang and Co. People who, you know, that breath of fresh air, technocrats who knew their work. Look at the current compilation. 1 year after
compensation.
Good. That is how you know that these people, you are not serious. If you're serious.
When you remove 5, appoint 7. What happened to a Russian report?
Maybe I should explain to you. Every government that comes to office, parliament and executive, there are some things they will say. The economic will say they want to do a single year tenure of 5 or 6 years. Parliament legislature, parliament system of government, inter-presidential. They'll tell you things like.
So they tell us what we want to hear.
Unicameral legislature. I was telling Emeka some days ago that there are no new ideas in this country anymore. There are no new ideas. These things have been written down for many years. There are no new ideas in Nigeria. What's
the solution?
Then executive arm, the things they normally say, or not say panel report.
Benny.
You hear them say things like, they know their game.
They know what we like to hear.
Governance, yes. What of governance?
No more health tourism.
Then the police IG, his own is as soon as it comes in, say
no more checkpoints.
Then in addition, they say that we're doing policemen from VIPs. Then so they all have their so they have that the blueprint. They have it, yes. They have a Bible of what to say to Nigerians to make them foolish. The day you will know, like they say, the money shows the day. You will know when the people that they appoint. You know what I mean? The people that they appoint to certain places will look at the JAMB man, the man at JAMB. Sure. Yes, you will know.
Fantastic.
He is audit.
That person ought to be Minister of Education, though.
They know. the person you are appointed to a position will make will make people quickly tell whether you mean business or not.
But Cyril,
yes,
somebody was saying that out of how many ministers, right? Quite a number, a large chunk of them are Yorubas, and then heads of agencies, departments. A lot of them are Yorubas. I looked at it, and the first thing that struck me was, and where was Buhari in his entire 8 years that he didn't find all of these competent Yoruba people that it was Fulanis that he put in all of these same agencies, from EFCC to judiciary to NIA and all of these agencies. The point I'm driving at is every president comes into power and he only finds competent people from his own tribe.
That issue, let me just.
So what will happen to the Southeasterners in the Nigerian contraption?
Again, the problem is this. That's why I said that anybody who wants to fix this country, this issue of where I come from and who I'm comfortable working with will not save us. I was listening to Pastor Sam Adeyemi, and he said something that I always thought. He said that good leadership thrives on inclusion.
Very true.
Inclusion.
Very true.
When I was in Oshobo for my youth service, I adopted some Yoruba names. I just loved you. I'm saying it on TV now. I love the Yoruba people. So I adopted, I think, 3 Yoruba names.
Till now, you haven't let you know. Till now, you haven't.
But yeah. So
nobody.
Then the other one, I'm not. Well, people like people discourage you. Don't worry. I adopted Hausa. I adopted Igbo. Every tribe I've visited, like every place I've gone to, I've tried to interact and communicate.
I thought that was the main idea of the NYS.
Now I'm coming.
To make us
You see, people don't believe in this country anymore.
Oh God.
We are very few who are left. I dare to say it. I make bold to say it. Now, where I'm going is this. A president should be able to, it was one of us who came in 76 that they appointed Alana Akinade as chief of army staff. Until he did, all of them had been northerners. So it became a template. Shagari had Bushishi. Buhari had Babangida.
So you can't find people outside of your tribe. It's very difficult.
Jonathan was the only one that managed to even give the Southeast one. Jonathan
went to go and find women. No, he did 35% affirmative action. Only Jonathan has done it.
Let me tell you, I have had my ears. I was within earshot when people said Jonathan is making a grave mistake. Have you seen any of those who took part from him do this? I can tell. I'm telling you this for a fact. They said he made a grave mistake
by following the constitution.
No, I mean. By trying to be a leader who wanted to embrace
everybody.
Yes. So where I'm going is this. Before you start talking of appointing people, this and that, apart from getting round specs in round holes, the point I was going to make, the second point was that you must be able, we must see you to be willing to build consensus one by healing wounds.
Sure.
That make us not to come together eye to eye.
Sure.
Any leader who is deliberately working at uniting Nigerians won't be afraid whether the person standing at his bedside is Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, or Kanuri.
Sure.
But so any leader who is not trying to fix that, forget about it. You can't go anywhere. Didn't this is what Northern governors told Tinubu some days ago when they met in Kaduna? Absolutely was shaking.
So my question is, if they are unable to do it, right, the alternative is referendum, right, where each region then becomes in charge of its own development.
I sat down some days very early in the morning and I was pondering the Nigerian situation. And maybe likewise the voice whispered to me that Nigerians are better hold on to Nigeria and make it work.
Mm-hmm.
That all this shakara we are doing,
I agree.
It's only basically because of Niger Delta oil money.
Yeah.
That's the easiest resource level.
When you break up, our hunger wants to finish you.
No.
We have
no. Do you know what?
It is being siphoned and stolen by the people who know. Yeah, no.
More with this.
When the citizens are hungry because there's no longer Niger Delta oil,
can't be too sure.
You will go and hold them. No. We cannot also be afraid of change.
No, I'm not being afraid. Who are the people We have not built an intelligence.
All the politicians that are leading us now, are they up to 10,000? Hold on a minute. Across the country.
There could be more.
They could be more. If they are they up to 1 million?
No, they are not about 1,000.
So that's the point I'm driving.
You know what? The bags of rice they can distribute, the fertilizers, bags of fertilizer they can distribute, and actually make them control 200 million Nigerians.
They can.
It's not about them. It's about what they give out.
You were talking earlier about
and the loaves of bread
about the Yoruba people that Tinubu is appointing. I hope you know that some of these people that we are seeing in some places are not the Yoruba are not the Yoruba first 11.
Hey,
no, they are not. They are not.
They're from the bench.
They are not. These people are no. They are people who don't even have teams that are playing for. For your country. You should have become. You should have been professionalized. It is true. Jumoke, it is true.
Oh my goodness!
When the president named Jumoke Oduwole to his cabinet,
were you in shock?
I was. The following morning,
my senior colleague.
The following morning I woke up. I actually prayed for her. I've never met her before. I prayed for her. I said, "May she succeed." So the point I'm making is this.
I agree.
Yes. Where I'm going is this. Any president who wants to, you see, people should come and hold you to ransom. That is the problem with Nigeria. It is either there is the joint interest, there is the Shekiri interest, there is the northern interest, there is the Yoruba interest.
Nigerian agenda.
There must be a leader who goes over and above himself to try to weld us into a common vision. Anybody not doing that,
I agree,
will not go far. It is part of the reason people are feeling that they are above the law. Look at now, this lawmaker Alex, he's going to walk away.
Mascot, definitely. Didn't Elisha Abu walk away? He did now.
The book Evans Ufeli wrote about the Garden of the Tribes. What is the story? That tribes came together to form a nation, which means that they have agreed to willingly give up some ethnic agitation to come together to be a nation. When a nation fails, what are they going to do? They will run back to their rabbit holes. They're going to be secure.
But for how long?
For how long?
Anyway.
So, sorry, the solution is not a referendum. The solution is a better leader.
We've allowed them.
Is a better leader. It's a better nation.
Yes.
We allow them.
When we return, Nigeria wants more taxes, but it's at war with itself as to how to share it among its component states. If you know Nigeria, it's an old trouble on a new day. Stay with us.
My case, Tinubu versus Northern governors again. Once again, Northern governors are not happy with President Tinubu. The governors are powerful. That is, Nigerian governors are very powerful. And when they speak, the presidency listens. In fact, when they sneeze, the presidency catches cold. It was governors who conspired to make life hell for former President Jonathan and subsequently had him ousted. The Northern Governors Forum, chaired by Gombe State Governor, has rejected the derivation-based model for value-added tax, VAT distribution, in the new tax bill currently in the National Assembly for deliberation. The problem is a problem of tax. Muhammad Inuwa Yahaya, governor of Gombe State, said after a meeting between the elders and governors of the North that the region frowned at the proposition, stating it is against their own interest. The forum called on members of the National Assembly to oppose the legislation and any other that jeopardize the interest of the people of the North. I thought governors, especially of the same party with a president, will meet him privately. But no, all they did, and it fell on deaf ears. Howsoever long a tiger's tail may be, it is not a ponytail and should not be twisted for fun. The governor said they noted with dismay the content of the said tax reform bill that was forwarded to the National Assembly, especially the proposed amendment to the VAT, as I've said, using the derivation-based model for distribution. This is because companies remit VAT using location of the headquarters and tax office and not where the services and goods are consumed. In view of the foregoing, the forum unanimously rejected the proposed tax amendments and called for restraint. At the same time, the Northern governors also expressed dissatisfaction with the way 17 Northern states were in blackout, although it appears that is now being addressed. My verdict. Clearly, this bill is dead in the water. It can't move any further. Nigeria could have well become federal for nothing. Laws are not where to begin Nigeria's reforms. We must first meet outside the walls of parliament and courtrooms. This is the takeoff point of national renewal. Some call it elite consensus. Only then can we formalize what we have already agreed upon. Until then, they will continue to be merely kicked down the road.
Yes, I'm happy that it's now hitting the northern governments. You see, Omoele Shore said one thing, that Nigeria has an Igbo problem. Then some others have also said things like that. You know, the interesting thing, you know, it's the North that has actually anything that has to do with the Southeast. It's the North that has pressed it down. But you know what happened? Out of 3 major lines serving the North, only the one from Opai in around the Delta State, going to Obosi in Anambra State, and then to the north. That was the only one that didn't go down. The others went down. Now, for the first time, the North realized that, wait a minute, this power we've had political power. But like one northern journalist based in London, Jafar said, he said that there is an energy deficit between the North and the Southwest, that the Southwest is better placed than the North in terms of energy distribution. Then the North had another asking the question. Buhari was there for 8 years. Why didn't he correct the deficit? Before that, there had been military rulers. Why didn't they correct the deficit? Because it didn't matter to them. It was now, Jafar was saying that Kano used to be an industrial city. Kaduna, people said, yes, we agree with all this. But if the owner of the house doesn't feel he should keep his possessions in order, no outsider will come and do it for you. Now, look at the Ajakuta, Kaduna, Katsina line, AKK, gas line. To take gas from Omo, the River State, through Morocco to Europe. Now, northern governors have not taken advantage of this. This should have just been a game changer for them to power the industries. But you know the interesting thing? Again, who are those benefiting from the gas expansion, the revised gas master plan? The Southwest. Specifically Lagos and other states. The line coming from Escravos straight to the NGC, Nigerian Gas Company, at Agidingbi, towards the toll gate. Now, when you are crying that, Tinubu should not do anything, that VAT and all of that, the northern governors know how VAT came to be in 1996. Because they were not serious about tax collection. So Abacha just decided to help them to centralize and make the federal government the senior prefect of VAT collection. VAT should not exist. In United Arab Emirates, you don't have VAT. So it's actually supposed to be a sales tax. But you know what? Back to the power issue, since you made it a 2-in-1. Somebody said there are places in the north that you dare not say you want to go and collect bills for electricity, that you'll be beaten dead. But in the south here, people are very conscious of paying their receipts.
Even when you don't have power.
Even on Monday, even so we are recruited. Not even on Monday. When you say on Monday, we agree. We the people like in the constitution. But some of us were recruited. So what I'm saying is this, the North should actually have a conversation with itself and realize for once that all it has been doing has actually
been leeching on
against the North. If you decide that, okay, you don't want beer is produced in the South, and then you destroy it in any place in the North because of Sharia, then take note that
we will not be collecting our VAT.
That derivation model, that if at the end of the day, the derivation model is discarded, then what will happen is that, like some Nigerians have been clamoring, abolish VAT.
True.
Let every state collect sales tax. Let us say that we're collecting it.
Let them go and generate revenue internally.
Yes. Let them, because you cannot just sit down and then you
be going cap in hand.
Statistics will tell you, look at the regions that are collecting the most revenue. And what you see, you know, they just list figures. They don't give you the facts behind the figures. So Nigerians who are not discerning, we just say, look at it. It is so.
It is Delta that is collecting the most.
No, of course, they'll say the Southwest are the highest. When you talk of Southwest, it's actually Lagos.
Lagos, and yes.
To some extent, states.
Highest population.
Then, you know, and then there is also the federal presence still in Lagos. So, when the North has had help with full power, had all the federal presence, and yet has done nothing with it, then instead it has spawned 20 million out of school children. And then you are crying that, oh, the tax model. Well, let me tell you.
Hold on, Lou. 100% of out of school children is from the North.
No.
It's 20 million across Nigeria.
Oh, you see the issue about out of school children. There's politics around it.
Okay.
In the Southeast, what you have as out of school children are actually young boys who, you know, majorly come from poor homes. So when they finish primary school, or some even go to primary school, they just enroll them, you know, as apprentices to go and then trade. And then they trade or skill. You know, so you count that as out of school children. It also happens in the Southwest, you know. But at least
they are engaged
in the Southwest and the South. Thank you, God bless you. They are engaged in productive activities, even though it's against, you know,
child rights.
Yeah, child rights. Yes, to engage child labor. Yes. So the North needs to have a conversation with itself, a serious conversation. Because let me tell you the truth. You know, when you talk about, you know, the component parts of Nigeria going there, look, even though I'm a proponent for one Nigeria, but I've told myself, if we get to the point where we think it's best for us to go a separate way, we will go a separate way. The South will actually find more cohesion.
You can't come and be exploring Elisha's gold.
You are so much obi with this your gold.
About the Niger Delta or gold.
Let everybody hold on to their resources. Let us go and be exploring our gold.
Do you know that
the Chinese are helping you to explore?
Jumoke.
And where's the money? Where's the money going to? China or private pockets?
Is it not?
Jumoke. In spite of it all, the fact is that
allegations.
No, I said allegations. He didn't say it was taken.
He said we should know.
Is the supreme money from your balance?
We should know.
I know aware of the family that.
It's illegal mining now. If one knows about it, we will arrest him.
Our country.
See, the problem, Jumoke, is that not problem. Even if it came to that, it was always an iron curtain and say north and south. You'll be surprised that the south will even prosper agriculturally more than the north.
Yes, now
these are.
You didn't let us go and call Kenya and say, "Come, let's do Lake Rice together."
Even if that,
which is what we ought to be doing.
Looks like
that. Okay, you have land, I have resources. Let's come together.
We are not sure.
It didn't work.
We are not sure what Lake Rice is.
They only sold this for 1 December.
propaganda agriculture. But frankly speaking, our country needs a shock therapy. It needs something that will
I agree.
And jerk it back to life.
I absolutely agree.
Put under an ECG machine. Let them demonstrate it quickly, so that it can find its feedback. And you know, it's nice to be the firstborn of the black man, of the black race, or perhaps even of human civilization. Nigeria, arise and live up to your name.
Arise and shine.
Nigeria or northern Nigeria.
The whole country.
Conversation.
All of us.
About northern Nigeria.
I was about to wrap the whole show, so I would have said the whole of Nigeria should wake up.
Nigeria needs to arise and shine.
The whole of Nigeria. You have to find out where the sun is, in what part.
Yeah.
Is it dawn? Is it noon? Is it mid-noon? And all of that.
I don't understand.
All of Nigeria is not looking at this. I'm just talking metaphorically. All of Nigeria is not looking at the sun at the same time.
Yes, we are not.
So when you say Nigeria wake up, if the assumption is that all of Nigeria is at the
least,
point of dawn,
at least,
metaphorically.
Yeah, but at least we can, like I said in the case.
Within the same hour, the sun will rise across Nigeria.
Yes, we can. We can.
Right?
Yes.
How many are prepared for the rising?
No, but again,
at the same time.
This is the reason it is the reason you cannot begin by decreeing it. We must agree that we want to see the sun at the same time.
I agree.
That's the takeoff point. All right. On that note, let us agree in Nigeria to see the sun at the same time. That's all on the middleman today. We hope it was worth your time. You may join the conversation across social media. Our handles are at Enterprise TV7. Until the middleman come away again, it's bye from all of us.